The Royer 121 is a legendary microphone that has been a staple in many recording studios and many stages around the world since its release in 1998. With its classic warm ribbon sound, it is one mic that has been heavily duplicated and never ever replicated. Even going as far as winning a technical Grammy in 2013 for designing a piece of gear that perfectly complemented the modern digital method. Special thanks to Hive Audio for sending me this gorgeous review unit for this video and also making this video possible. Stay tuned later to find out more about Hive Audio and how you can get this microphone. Now, let's take a look at the specs. The Royer 121 is a classic ribbon microphone that picks up sound in a figure 8 pattern. There's extremely low inherent noise. It's ideal for both electric and acoustic recordings, which I will have sound samples and you can skip ahead to the timestamps down below. Wind instruments, overheads of drums, string instruments, vocals. I know some people that use these as room microphones, so they're very, very versatile with their applications. Frequency range on these microphones goes down to 30 Hertz all the way up to 15K, give or take about 3 decibels. It can take SPLs of up to 135 decibels. The ribbon is in this flange unit, so if we're looking at the mic this way, this is where the ribbon actually sits. Its main direction is, facing this way, but you can actually record with it facing the other way if you want a less direct sound or something that doesn't capture as much of the low end of a particular source. Me being a guitar player, I wanted to see how the Royer 121 would sound on my 1x12 cabinet by itself and with its legendary guitar amp counterpart, a Shure SM57, in parallel. I arranged the two microphones in the same way that session guitarist from Nashville, Sean Tubbs of Carrie Underwood, arranges his, and I love his guitar tone. Basically, you get your 121, you put it as close to the speaker grill cloth as possible, pointed directly in the center of the dust cap, and then you get your SM57 and you put it right where the cap and the cone meet. For preamps for both microphones, I am using the Phoenix Audio Ascent EQ2, which is a British style preamp EQ. You know those Brits, they never let us down, if you catch my drift. And also I do have to say, what you're gonna hear has no EQing, no post-processing, there's no compression, there's none of that. I wanted to keep it as dry as possible, and I'm putting it in and out of the mix so that you can hear how this sounds both in and out of a mix. Now we are going to listen to a track that I just put together as a means of demoing the sounds of a Royer 121, both isolated and in the mix. I'm using two electric guitars with two separate sounds and an acoustic guitar, panned hard left and hard right. The electric guitar that you hear on the right is my Epiphone 335 running through a Vox style amp. The guitar that you hear on the left is my Les Paul going through a Friedman, which is slightly gainier. Both amps are going through a DV Mark 1x12 cabinet, being mic'd with the Royer 121 and the SM57. The SM57 is included because the 121 and a 57 is a legendary combination, especially on guitar cabinets. There is some room reverb, just so not everything is extremely dry, but that is only when there is bass and drums. For everything else, everything is dry. And like with all things audio, make sure you listen with good speakers or with headphones. So now, let's have a listen. Now let's have a listen to the guitars only, using only the 121. let's listen to one of the acoustic guitars down the center. This is the 335 with the Vox. Now blending in a little bit of 57. This is my Les Paul through the Friedman. Now with the 57. Now this is an all guitar mix including the 57s in the electric guitars. Now back to the band mix. Aside from the electric guitar, this also sounds fantastic on acoustic guitar. Now granted, my room, my recording space is not the most dead sounding room, but the mic does still produce that classic, legendary, warm ribbon sound. Now I'm going to demonstrate with my acoustic guitar proximity, especially when recording an acoustic guitar. I'm going to try it closer to the head, around the 12th fret, kind of facing it with the sound hole, and then towards the bridge. And finally, we have vocals. Now, I'm not a singer, I'm not a rapper.
I'm not a rapper.
I currently don't have a singer and or a rapper at my disposal. But what I do have is, I've been told that I have a rather warm and calming voice to some degree. So I wanted to try and demonstrate that by reading an excerpt from a book that I'm currently reading, which is Mastery by Robert Greene. Hey, so here we are. I've changed up a little bit of the setup and I am wearing in-ear monitors, making sure that I'm not speaking too loud or I'm not breathing too hard. Because as you can see, I don't have a pop filter in front of me. I'm about, I'd give or take about 8 inches, maybe 12 inches away from the microphone. It is facing forward towards me. Currently you're hearing the sound of my camera microphone. Now we're gonna switch over into the Royer 121. And I will be reading an excerpt from Mastery by Robert Greene. So here we go. It is a simple law of human psychology that your thoughts will tend to revolve around what you value most. If it is money, you will choose a place for your apprenticeship that offers the biggest paycheck. Inevitably, in such a place you will feel greater pressures to prove yourself worthy of such pay, often before you are really ready. You will be focused on yourself, your insecurities, the need to please and impress the right people, and not on acquiring skills. Eventually, the time that was not spent on learning skills will catch up with you, and the fall will be painful. Now I am going to reverse the direction of the microphone so you get to hear the figure 8 polar pattern and how different it sounds. Think of it this way. There are two kinds of failure. The first comes from never trying your ideas because you are afraid, or because you're waiting for the perfect time. This kind of failure you can never learn from, and such timidity will destroy you. The second kind comes from a bold and venturesome spirit. If you fail in this way, the hit that you take to your reputation is greatly outweighed by what you learn. Repeated failure will toughen your spirit and show you with absolute clarity how things must be done. In fact, it is a curse to have everything go right on your first attempt. Well, there you guys have it. This has been the Royer 121. Little overview, little bit of a demo. Again, special thanks to Hive Audio here in Manila. They are the main distributors for Royer microphones. These come in a couple different flavors, but this one's just the base classic model. Make sure to contact them if you have any more questions, or if you would like to pick up one of these for yourself. If you are an owner of a studio or part of a studio here in Manila, I definitely recommend that you have at least one Royer 121 at your disposal. It's just such a classic sound. You've heard it without even realizing that you've heard it. So much so that if you go to the Royer website and you click on the actual product page, they have a list of all of the famous recordings that it was used on, both live sessions and in studio sessions as well. Anyway guys, I've been Xergio Ramos. Thank you so much for checking this out. If you like what you see, leave a comment down below what you liked, what you didn't like. Give me one of these, hit the subscribe button. You already know the vibes. I'm Xergio. Thank you again for watching, and thank you again to Hive Audio. Peace.